Yes, we finally have some updates for Mordhau, and I absolutely can't wait to get into this video to tell you about it. Tomorrow will probably be coming a full updates video, but tonight we have a look, an in-depth look into the 2 new maps that have been put into Mordhau. Now, as I said, later on tomorrow we will get all the updates. I'll make a whole list of everything, all the important bits, so make sure you stick around for that. But without further ado, let's get into Mordhau's 2 new maps. First off, we have Crossroads. Now, Crossroads is the main addition to this, and the reason I'm saying this is the main addition because this was the officially released map with this update. Many of you remember I did a video quite a while back on a map called Horsefields. This was a non-official map that was released, but actually it was sort of done. But I feel like Horsefields was a tech demo for this map, and as I'll get onto later, I think this is a tech demo for another map. I mean, let's think about this. The Horsefields, you start on both sides of the map and you charge into each other. There's nothing in the middle but just plain grasslands. It was great for jousting, practicing your cavalry things, but then take it into the Crossroads map that's just come in, and you start with those 2 massive cavalry bases, but in the middle you have a fort. This is a broken down ruined fort with some really cool map design to make the fighting pretty intense, and I would say this is the most even map that Mordhau have released. With all the other maps we had some issues with balancing, how the points were pretty uneven, but because there's only really one main point in the middle here, I would say this is the most fair game map if you want a completely even experience for both sides. There's not one side that has the advantage. The way this map works is starting with the 2 horse bases. Now you can spawn closer to the fort, so you can get straight to the battle if infantry is more your thing, but if you want to go to the horse bases and you want to get on the cavalry, there's an array of about 5 to 10 horses that are sat around that you can get on, and you can run around in what is still a very open grass plains around the outside, doing some great cavalry combat, but make sure you don't get caught in and try and run into the ruins, because that's where all the infantry are fighting, which means that your cavalry is not going to be great when it comes to, close quarters combat in those ruins. Also, additionally, on these 2 horse bases are 2 ballistas, 1 on each side. These are very powerful and they can fire straight into the ruins in the center, making if someone wants to use this, if they're a good shot, because it is quite far away, but they have a perfect shot into the center. But let's talk a little bit about this center. What can we expect once you go in? Well, of course, you'll both be coming on each side, blues coming from one and the red on the other. Once you come up, you'll have to climb up the ruins. There's certain ways you can go around the outside of the ruins. You can fight upon the boardwalks. Yes, there's little planks going across that are very, very tricky to get across, especially if someone's fighting you on the other side. They can kick you off pretty easily, but it's not too of a high fall, so it probably won't kill you in one drop if you're on full health. Saying this, you can still be fighting on the base level. There's ruins, there's lots of bits to hide around, there's a lot of rocks, there's lots of obstacles, and of course on this map, if you're getting up on the top of the ruins, on top of the walls, there's sort of a treehouse thing in the middle, and you're able to do a lot of parkour jumping between them, and it's a lot of good fun. Additionally, there is a ballista on one side, and on the other side there is a new thing that I'll get into later tomorrow on the new update, which are mortars. I'm not going to tell you too much about mortars because that's all more information on that video, so make sure you stick around for that one. But basically, it's a big cannon that you can fire at people. I mean, it's called a mortar, but a lot of people were calling it a cannon in the game yesterday, so who knows. I think it's more to do with people wanting to be historically accurate, but this can do a lot of damage. When you get on it, you get a guide to see where the arc will be going and where the mortar will be hitting, and upon hit it does a lot of damage and there's a big explosion. I think the explosion looks a little bit goofy at the moment, and unfortunately it can be broken if you accidentally, hit the wall or a teammate next to you, and they'll cause a big explosion, killing you, and the mortar will fly off in a random direction. Furthermore, there are the barricades that can be built pretty much like any other frontline map. Spikes can be put down and barricades on each side to block cavalry, because there are big entrances, big gaping walls in this fort that cavalry can get in. Now, as I said, cavalry isn't so effective in these close quarters, but if they can get in, they can still do a decent amount of damage if they know what they're doing. So if you're an engineer, you can build up these barricades in order to stop any cavalry from even getting in the first place. Once again, there is a catapult like most of the other frontline maps. I don't know how effective it will be on this, since you'll have both teammates and enemies fighting in the same place in the very close quarters, although that hasn't stopped people from firing catapults into it in the past. So, people still will probably be team killing with it. But this is where it gets interesting, because I did mention before, I do feel like this map, this Crossroads map, as Horsefields was a tech demo for this map, I do feel like this Crossroads map is a tech demo or a test for a bigger siege map, or at least siege in general. The reason I'm saying this is the positioning of the artillery. I mean, the ballistas and the mortars are in probably the worst positions possible, because they're fighting outwards from the fort to a side that no one's really attacking from. So it's sort of empty space, so I don't know why they put them facing that way, and of course they have a limited turning circle. Now, whether this is because they expected a lot of cavalry to be running around the outside, but really people just want to get in onto the infantry on the inside, so the mortars and ballistas become almost useless, or whether this is because they want this to be more of a bigger siege eventually. Because think about it, if you have the ballistas and the mortars facing outwards, you're going to be expecting people coming from all sides. Maybe they'll be adding more spawn points or more teams. Now, once again, please do not take any of this seriously. This is just my speculation. I do like speculating, and I know it annoys a lot of people, but it's just an idea I had that what if there's more teams? Because this map isn't your typical front lines map. This is more of a King of the Hill map. So you have the red and blue teams, but what if you add in 2 more teams on either side? There you have people coming in from all sides, and you make this into a King of the Hill, and I think that will be extremely intense. Almost a free-for-all, but maybe having 15 people on each team, so that would be quite good, 20 people on each team, and having 4 teams going into trying to take that one centre point of the fort and the ruins. I think that would be an awesome thing. That's just my thoughts on explaining why the terrible positions of the artillery there, but maybe it was just terrible positioning. That's probably more likely. But the Crossroad map is not the only map. Now, there's an unofficial map that has been put in this update that you have to... It's called Funland? Yeah, you need to know the exact coding to put it into the console. It's not a proper map, as you'll see. This is more of an assault course map. It's a good fun map. This is not if you want to go killing. I mean, if you keep it on public, of course, people are going to be trying to kill each other in the spawn. So we had to set the server to private to actually get this to work properly without people just killing each other. But as you can see, this is an insanely big obstacle course map. Yeah, it's quite interesting. I mean, there's slides you can go down, there's bits of plank that you have to jump, there's seesaws, there's ladders that you have to climb up and then hop to another ladder, there's an impossible jump right at the top, which I think my guys in the clan tried about 50 times, and I don't think anyone actually made it in the end, but it was a lot of fun. There's a whole jousting bit, so you can try that if you want to do that. It's a lot of fun, and I think at the moment, on the downtimes of one of my servers, I'm going to keep this map just rolling and rolling, because it's a pretty funny map to play on. But that's pretty much it for these 2 maps. I'm going to leave you guys with a little bit of gameplay of the assault course map, because I mean, it was quite funny listening to everyone get angry from falling. So if you guys want to see more Mordhau content, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe, and make sure you stick around for tomorrow when I go through the update bit by bit, all the best bits. I didn't really want to put it in this video since I think it would be too long if I put explaining the 2 maps and then the whole update itself. So make sure you stick around tomorrow for that. But I will leave you guys now with a few minutes of us pissing about on the new maps, specifically the assault course map.
Oh my god.
Let's go.
Oh my god. Oh, there's you fucking pushing. I'm alive. I made it.
Oh no, I'm gonna get... Oh, I just missed it.
No. You made it. Someone do this.
Wait for it. Go.
Stuff right here.
Oh.
Move back.
Go. I'm on.
Some people.
Oh god. There's a boat.
Oh.
I'm on a ship.
I'm gonna go on the ship.
Oh my god, it's going super fast.
Hello.
Slide, boys.
Oh, we're going back.
I'm gonna
Oh, game sir. What the fuck?
So you guys on front line.
I'm going to
What are we doing?
Hello, you guys see me?
No, Muffin, you blocked
I go
me.
to the boat.
Oh my god.
Oh, no. Guys, I found a unique weapon.
Whoa,
Okay.
wait,
It's
what
called
did
an
you find?
ogre. It's called an ogre club.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
No!
I found a unique weapon.
Oh, I'm watching you. I'm watching you. You better not fall.
Oh, I better not.
Oh. Oh, you are. Oh, kick him off.
You wanna get hit by
Kick him off,
this?
Macari. Oh!
Wait, hold on. Hushie, look at me, dude. Oh. We get up here, dude. Let's go. Go for the horses on the side, they're dead. No, they actually are.
Where
I killed the shipper.
Oh, someone fell off.
What is the password?
No!
Buffing you so many.
All I can see is you've got a big log.
Yeah, I got a giant stuff, man.
Yeah, it's one big log.
There's some more parkour at the top of this, but I don't trust myself.
I'll do it. I'll be a beta tester.
Holy fuck, there's a beta.
Can you put it on line map or to the?
Oh!
Not even close, mate.
Slidey boy over here. Who was it?
Oh shit.
Oh, it's Edix.
On the pirate ship.
What the fuck, dude? I got knocked over by the skull.
No!
Yeah.
What? Well, never mind. We're going down. Amazing. Right, I am gonna do this jump. Oh, come on, boys. Let's get ready.
There's no way you're doing this,
What the
John.
fuck got knocked
I
off?
believe in myself.
no.
What?
That's what I trained for.
I fell through. You don't slow mo.
Yeah, I saw you.
I just fell off the slide. Mechanic, wrong side. Let me squeeze fast.
You can make that jump on
It's so
slow
fucking
mo.
hard to walk.
Go on, go on, go on, point. Here we go. He's going, he's going.
You almost killed
It's impossible, bro.
For some glitching of the
Wants to get on the pirate ship. I am. Come on, boys. It's stupid. There's only one at a time. Hey, stop after, man.
There's not a lot of room on the ship.
I'm stuck. It's a squeeze, but you know.
If you can't get on, don't get on.
No, Resident, please, it's me, please, Resident, no. I need to test something, please, no. Here we go.
My vehicle. Slice it like the fall.
I'm so sorry.
Oh no!
Fuck.
I'm sorry.
He fell off the ladder.
That was me, it just didn't grab.